Hello, and welcome to another Forgeborn Hobbies video painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint a Mortek guard for the Ossiarch Bonereapers army from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. If you'd like to see the entire model painted from start to finish, please click on the link up in the cards, or go visit my channel page. But for now, let's get to painting this blue. To start this model off, I've given it a primer coat of Vallejo Surface Primer Black. I've then given it a dry brush of Dawnstone, and then a finer dry brush of Gracier. So here you can see on the spear tip, it gets a very fine edge highlight. It's exactly what we want to see when we do that. The very first step in this process is going to be using Contrast Talisar Blue. We're going to be applying this like a glaze, not as a wash as you would typically use a contrast paint. And for this, I'm going to use a very cheap brush that I can destroy and that you can see has already been frayed. I'm going to put thin coats of Talisar Blue on to the spear tip, onto the gemstone on the chest, and then onto the cartouche on the shield, as well as the little stones where the tabard is connected to the belt. I also put some of this contrast blue into the eyes, as you will see in this video, but I don't give the eyes the same effect. I put the contrast in here for a different effect for these that match a different part of the color scheme. Once the Talisar Blue is completely dried, you can move on to the next step, which is a fine highlight using Lothern Blue. For this, I use a very small detail brush, and I just do a couple of thin lines just on the parts of these pieces where the light would catch most. So if you imagine where the light would hit a gemstone in real life, if the light was just overhead of the miniature, that's what we're going for here. Normally, I would say to put even thinner lines and to do more of them onto a highlight like this, but there's an effect that we are going to give this where we don't need extra highlights, and this doesn't need to be perfect highlighting on its own in order to do what we're trying to do. Again, you can see that I'm applying this to the spear tip, to the gemstone on the chest, to the cartouche on the shield, and to the stones on the belt. And once this part is dry, there's only one thing left to do on this in order to complete the entire model. Now, you can see here that I have completely finished the rest of the model. We've painted the armor, we've painted all the different bone, we've done the entire base, and then we've given the entire model a coat of matte varnish from Vallejo. And what we're going to do is we're going to use Vallejo gloss varnish. So I'm going to put some of this on my palette, and I'm going to use that same cheap brush that likes to get destroyed to apply several thin coats of gloss varnish to this model. And you want to keep these coats thin so that they don't obscure any detail. You want to make sure that they dry thoroughly between coats so that you get nice even coverage and a fantastic glossy effect to round out this model. Once the gloss varnish is completely dry, this is what the full model looks like. You can see that the overhead light here in this photo booth really catches the Nadirite and helps it to stand out. It helps catch just the edges, and even thin coats of gloss varnish still leaves some brush strokes from the cheap brush, and in this case, that's okay. It makes it look even cooler than it would otherwise. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope it maybe gave you some new ideas as you continue on your painting adventure. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope that if you like it, you'll hit the like button. If you like my content, subscribe so that you can see more of it in the future. And until the next time I see you, have a great day, stay safe, and keep painting.